How can Shakespeare help at-risk kids? There's a program, I believe it's in San Diego, that Lisa Ling covered in her wonderful program. I'll put a link in the comments. And it talks about folks that are incarcerated using Shakespeare to help at-risk kids. You may be thinking, wait a minute, putting kids into prisons with like murderers to do Shakespeare? Yes, here's why. Shakespeare, at the time of Shakespeare, they didn't have directors, so they didn't rehearse. So what happened is you would have a role, which is like you can see your role, and what you see is the line of the person before you and your line. So you had to listen. And it also means there's no subtext in Shakespeare. So everything the characters are feeling or doing is in the text. And in actor terms, we call it heightened text or heightened emotion. It's a kind of emotion of like, mom pulls car off baby, that level of heightened emotion. And who is experiencing that? First of all, teenagers. Secondly, at-risk kids. So it gives these kids a place to put that emotion. Whether it's I want to murder somebody, or I'm afraid, or I'm in love, or I feel misunderstood, and they have a place to express those things and talk about those things through the character. Which leads me to the second thing, which is that a lot of times at-risk kids, they don't really feel like they have permission to talk about what's going on with them, and they feel really alone, especially young men who feel like they have to be stoic. And so having an adult talk to you about the emotion of the character can often lead to an emotion of, where is this in you and in your life, right? And finally, Shakespeare is about power, the abuse of power and the good use of power. So whether it's love or sex or I'm the king or murder, it's all about how people use or don't use power wisely. And so particularly in this program where you have people who are like, yeah, when I was 15, I killed someone. So that was me using my power, and look what happened. And the same thing happens in Shakespeare. People who abuse their power suffer. So it offers at-risk kids an opportunity to say, here's what happens if you follow that path that you're on, and let's talk about that. But most importantly, what Shakespeare does is it creates a tool to have a conversation about the very real life or death risks, fears, hopes, and dreams that these kids are facing, and have somebody go, you know what? I hear you, and I see you, and I believe in you. What do you think?